that next year wouldn't be so easy. They'd have to sign up at the end of this season if they wanted a hope of getting a chalet again. Mitch carried on hauling trees from his truck parked on the corner, the scent of pine filling the air and bringing Christmas to Garland Street before anyone else got a chance. Cleo, armed with a big box of woolen products and the key to unlock her very own chalet, made her way past stallholders clutching their cups of coffee, others buzzing with the excitement of it all. One couple was already hanging jewelry on hooks on the folded back doors of their chalet, and the atmosphere had a similar feel to that of Christmas morning, everyone waiting for the off. The kids would be at home with Dylan now, in that crazy rush that happened before school, and Cleo was glad to be out of it for the time being. She reached number 22, balanced the box between her knee and the door, undid the padlock, and crept inside the generous wooden cube. The smell of freshly cut timber that came with these sorts of chalets hung around, and she couldn't wait to get her display ready and fill the place with garments she'd made from the yarns at her store. She wouldn't be allowed to trade for another hour, so she moved the tables around inside, pushed them all together to create a big central table instead. A smaller table sat in the corner with a couple of fold-up chairs, and she had knitting with her in case the day had slow pockets, something she couldn't really predict. She put a money belt on around her waist beneath her coat and tipped in a bit of change she'd brought from home, as well as the whizzy credit card machine. She'd decided against a till, far too vulnerable for light fingers. She folded back both doors and hooked them in place. It was freezing today, but she layered up with a thermal long-sleeve top, a chunky woolen sweater, her coat, scarf, and gloves that would only come off for the fiddliest of jobs. "Where do you want these?" Jude, recognized only by voice, given Cleo couldn't see him behind the two big boxes in his arms, was Mitch's helper for the day, and hers right now. Cleo took the box that enabled her to see the boy, a good friend of Mitch's, and almost like a second son to him. "You're a star, thank you. Let me lock up and I'll come back for the rest." "Albie's mom just dropped him off, so Mitch has enough hands to line up the trees. I don't mind getting the boxes for you." "You're a good lad," as was Albie, Mitch's son. Jude blushed slightly, as boys of his age did when they were given compliments, and returned down the street, back to the Christmas tree stall and the truck. Cleo appreciated the help since she was on her own for now. Her assistant, Kaisha, would be manning the stall at the Inglenook Falls markets today. Dylan had the kids and the school run to contend with, and her friend Amelia, who she'd roped in to help as a last-minute favor, enticed with free accommodation, courtesy of friends Darcy and Miles, wouldn't be arriving from England until today. This was how most things worked in Cleo's life these days, like a military operation, with all bases covered. But she and Dylan were well practiced, and they had good, solid friendships, without which Cleo wasn't sure she'd be as calm as she was. She still saw her good friend Violet, who'd thrown the party where she met Dylan, but nowadays she was closer to Darcy and Miles, Holly and Mitch, since their lives had become so intertwined. When Cleo had talked with her friend Amelia on the phone yesterday to wish her a safe trip, she tried to explain to Amelia how she knew all these people. She'd told Amelia how Darcy had once come to Cleo's knitting workshops when she still had the store in the West Village, and they'd struck up a friendship from there. Darcy went on to run the Inglenook Inn in Greenwich Village, where Miles had been a guest, and they'd got together despite a rocky history. Holly was the journalist who covered a Christmas story at the inn, and she and Darcy had hit it off. Holly had had a career crisis, her words, nobody else's, and gone freelance rather than facing grueling office hours in the city. And when she'd gone to Inglenook Falls to cover a grand hotel opening, she'd literally fallen into Mitch's life. Everyone seemed to lead complicated lives. They all had their share of ups and